Brock Purdy and his contract will continue to be one of the top storylines heading into this offseason across the entire NFL. And we've already heard all the takes and opinions from pretty much everyone in the 49ers community. So it's always refreshing to hear from people outside of the community, guys who are tapped in with the NFL, understand how the league works, and have zero emotional ties or any type of connections to the 49ers. They just talk ball. And so when you listen to Daniel Jeremiah and Bucky Brooks just discuss like what they think about the Brock Purdy pay conversation, it's absolutely refreshing because they actually approach it from a logical perspective and less of an emotional perspective. So take a listen to what they have to say, and I have some thoughts on the other side.
I think it's going to be a whole heck of a lot of money. It's what it's going to be. And I think, look, nothing's in a vacuum, right? I think even though you could kind of play this year to year with Purdy, I think when you look at options in free agency, you look at options in this particular draft class, which you wouldn't be able to get a guy anyways. Mm-hmm. I think it just reinforces this notion of, he's not so bad. Yeah, whatever issues he has, and let's get him healthy and all those things. But we know when he's dialed in and we have the pieces in place around him, this can operate at a very, very high level. I think that's going to give them the comfort to pay him. So, yeah. I would be shocked if we don't see something get done there. And it's probably, Buck, going to be a number that people on the outside, quote unquote casuals, are going to go like, oh man, that's way too much for him. But I think that's part of it, the going rate. And the other part of it, Buck, is we're not paying him for the rest of the league. We're paying him for how he fits what we do. That's our job.
And I think the biggest issue that people have with Purdy is the pedigree, right? Because he was Mr. Irrelevant, a 7th-round pick, and no one on the outside may have viewed him being what he's become. It's hard to say, hey, we're going to pay him like an elite quarterback. I mean, Red and I watched him at the East-West Shrine game. I wish I could tell you that we could forecast that this is what he was going to be. But there are times where players improve and develop. And you're right. Teams have to play players for how they perform within their system. He may not be the right fit for everybody, but he's a perfect fit for the 49ers because as much as people say, oh, they can plug anybody in there, we've seen a bunch of different quarterbacks for the Niners with Kyle Shanahan. And it hasn't popped like it's popped with Brock Purdy. Because of that, look, whatever they have to pay him, they have to pay him because he certainly has deserved it with the amount of wins that he stacked on the resume since he's been there.
So again, when you listen to these guys don't care what the 49ers do. They really don't care. These are draft analysts. They are so tapped into the NFL, so they know exactly what's going on. And that's one of the key elements that one of the very first video I made about this whole Brock Purdy conversation was about understanding the market and how the market is going to dictate the price. That's just how it works. You had Cam Newton come on and say the market is going to dictate the price for Brock Purdy. You had Richard Sherman come on and say the market is going to dictate the price for Brock Purdy. So anyone who understands how the league works and is not going to be saying that, oh, well, you can only pay Brock Purdy 30 to 40 million. That's what he's worth. Like, because if you understand the league, you recognize that the market determines his worth, not what you think, not what I emotionally feel we should pay Brock Purdy. That's not how it works. It is based off market. They're going to take his resume that is better than Tua's, better than Trevor's, better than Dak's, and they're going to compare and contrast. And when you see it, you're like, they're kind of in that range. We might not like that all three of those guys that I named are at the top of the list of highest paid quarterbacks in the league. Even look at Jordan Love. He's up there. He's not performing like they have a winning record and they're playing well. But if you actually watch the games, it's like, ooh, he almost throws like 2 to 3 picks every single game. And, more often than not, the other team just drops him. But nonetheless, that's not the point. The point being is that this is a take and perspective from people who don't care. They don't have a foot in the Brock Purdy camp or a foot in the Trey Lance camp or they don't care. They have zero rooting and interest in any of it. They're just telling you what they think based on their knowledge of how these things work. And not only that, but they're also talking about it. It's like you got to look at what works for the 49ers. 49ers, and Kyle has basically told us this. He doesn't want a running quarterback. He they went and got Trey Lance, and I really don't think that Kyle wanted Trey Lance. I think he wanted Mac Jones. I don't know what had happened or how it happened, but there is a belief that Kyle firmly wanted Mac, and that's everything that we heard. And I think based on how we've seen how Trey was handled, it might make sense that Kyle didn't want Trey. I don't know. But anyways, it's about guys who fit what Kyle needs and what Kyle wants in this system. And if we heard from Jed York, he said there's no chance that Kyle and John are going anywhere. And so if these two guys are the future, are going to continue to run this organization, we understand what they require at quarterback. They need a guy like Brock who is smart enough to be able to handle everything. They recognize that he is a leader of men for only being 24, just turned 25 years old. And that you got to look at the market and his fit with the team. He fits what the team does. The team loves him. They appreciate him. I mean, you talk about like that, that big win against the Bears week 14. What was the storyline out of that? Oh, Brock Purdy spoke to the team on the Saturday pregame like team meeting, and just everyone just was completely bought into the message. And he's only 20 at the time. He was 24 years old. He's 25 now. He just turned 25. But that's the point, man. It's like there's still so much growth left for Brock. There's still so much ability for him to improve and get better with where he's currently at. I think he's proven he's going to have that ability to get better and continue to work at his craft and improve. And, he's proven that he's been able to be successful under heavy scrutiny and pressure, which a lot of guys can't do. Now, this year was a lot of up and downs, and it is what it is, but he still has a pretty darn good resume to go off of, and that's ultimately what is going to get him paid. And that's why this conversation, it is what it is. Like, if you don't want Brock Purdy to be paid, then I don't know what to tell you. Because what other options are there? Just like they said, Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward, those aren't options. You think Kyle wants Cam Ward? Absolutely not. It's just the same thought process as mine when I thought like Justin Fields should have been the pick. It's the same thing. He doesn't want those types of quarterbacks. He wants guys who can stand in the pocket, run his offense, and operate it at a high level. And we haven't seen a quarterback with the San Francisco 49ers where it has been operated to this level. Everyone's trying to now like backtrack and compare Brock to Jimmy. Jimmy never operated this offense at this level, not even close. So to me, that's a joke. And it's just, again, revisionist history and preying on people's emotions of being upset. But it is what it is, man. Like, I don't know. I like what they had to say, but again, I don't know. You tell me. Let me know in the comments below, and as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.